Hey, it's Heaven. I decided to go for a late night walk. I don't know how well you can hear me out here. Hopefully, pretty well. But yeah, I was in the co-op office, shared office space, whatever you call it. I was editing music and working and whatever, and I just felt inspired to go for a walk because it's so beautiful outside and because I spent almost the entire day inside and um, yeah, it's been nice to walk around specifically when there's nobody else outside, and get some fresh air and breathe and walk slow too, which has been really nice. So, yeah. And I also making this video just because, if I'm being really honest, the whole day I felt kind of like on the verge of tears, and I don't even really know why. If I'm being completely honest with you, I just felt very emotional. I think a lot of it is that I just feel like ready to be different. Have you ever felt like you ready to change certain things about yourself and you're the only one who can do it, and you're doing it, slowly, you see the change happening, but uh, maybe it's not happening as fast as you'd like, or maybe you just wish that it was happening differently. And I guess that's just how I felt all day. I was kind of getting annoyed with myself a little bit, and I guess also I was, in a way, distracting myself by doing work. I mean, I needed to get the work done anyway, but I was kind of using the work as a distraction, so that I didn't have to deal with or think about whatever it was that all that stuff that I didn't feel like thinking about. Um, and so part of the reason why I went on this walk was so that I could just exist, you know, and not be looking at the computer, not editing, not listening to a song, not, looking at, I'm looking at my phone, but, not looking at the phone for the purposes of like social media or whatever the thing is. Um, and it's been really useful. And I'm also just giving myself like some grace in the sense that like, you know, something that I heard like 10 years ago. It was pretty much saying like, if you ever feel like you're going through something and it's a lot, it's just like, remember that you're not the first person to go through whatever it is that you're going through, and you won't be the last person to go through it either. And something about that is really refreshing. And if I'm being honest, one of the big things that I'm sort of like accepting in a way is like, the things that happen outside of me, as far as like what other people do, how they choose to think, how they choose to feel, it's got nothing to do with me. And if one chooses to keep reacting over and over and over again, then you're just going to suffer over and over and over again, because you're reacting to things that are happening outside you that you have no control over. And I'm just accepting it, like actively accepting it. Like, every person on the street can think whatever they want to think. It has got nothing to do with me. And there's no reason for me to take it personally. It's one of the 4 agreements, like not taking anything personally, which is like, it's very easy to say. In practice, it's just, it just is what it is. I don't want to say it's difficult in practice. It just is what it is. And it's like you reach a point where it's just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't even speculate anymore on what other people are thinking. Like, I'm not even interested in the speculation. You know what I mean? It's like whenever you think, whenever you think thoughts, even if they're about other people, you're the one who experiences it. The other person doesn't experience your thoughts. You know, that's the same reason why I'm not so interested in social media so much. It's like reading other people's thoughts that then I hear in my head. Negative thoughts, whatever. Like, I'm the one who has to hear the thoughts in my head. And if I'm going to take ownership over my life, accountability, you know, because I'm the only one who has control over what I focus on, what I think, what I accept as true. And so I've got to do a better job guarding my mind or directing my focus, you know? My attention has to be worth more. And that's something that I'm just accepting more and more and more and more. Because if I don't change, it won't ever change. And you know, the process can be a little like painful. Forcing yourself to change, it takes like courage. Like each situation, because it's easy to stay the same. And it is really easy to do the sort of like negative thing. You know, worry, complain, blame other people. That's something that's very easy to do. Even fear is easy. To be like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, this person's going to think this. Or whatever. It's so easy to do that. And then in each situation, when you want to change, to face it and say, no, I'm not going to do that. And you do it because it doesn't just, you can decide that, but you have to practice it. Again, every time it like wants to pop up, you're like, you know, there's some situation that you're nervous to walk into, and you have to go, you know what, no, I'm just going to walk into the situation, you know, and you feel things. And you have to be like, you know what, it's okay that I'm feeling this feeling. And that's what I've been experiencing lately. But I've been accepting it because, you know, the big thing is that I'm done running. I am done, you know, what's that word? Like skirting responsibility, blaming other people, talking about what other people, making my life about what other people are doing, what other people are thinking. It's like I can live independently of the good opinion of other people. And that's another thing. Another thing that's been on my mind recently is being okay with knowing that someone thinks something that's not true about me. Not trying to correct it, just being like, it's okay. And something about that is really rewarding, you know? It's rewarding. It does take practice. You know, just being like, I'm just gonna let that go. Or even being places where maybe, or in situations where you feel like you're not being seen or you're not being recognized, and instead of like trying to like fight for it or like, you know, posture for position, just be like, it's okay. There are people who do see me. And more importantly, I see myself. And I'm the one that I have to live with, not these other people. You know? And another thing that's been on my mind too is like really not taking on the energy of other people's thoughts or the speculation, because the truth of the matter is, you know, especially with people that you meet on the street or that you work with or whatever, when you leave that person's presence, they're not thinking about you. That person on the street that did whatever they did, that felt weird to you, or the person in the store that did that thing. You know, when it's over, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about you. They're not going to be there for you when you need something. So why does their opinion matter? You're going to take on something and carry it with you for how long? It's not worth it. And the process of changing has been very interesting, but I just don't care. You know, you reach a point where you're just like, come on. Like, to yourself. Even just believing in yourself. Not even just believing in yourself. You know, someone said, I don't remember where I read this or whatever. It was saying the energy of the solution is different than the energy of the problem. And if you're constantly living in I wish this was like this, or I wish that was like that, that's the energy of the problem. When are you going to take on the energy of the solution? And I had to ask myself that. It's like, are you just going to keep talking about this? What's the solution? Be it. Like, even like things like the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you think about living in the right place, or having the right kinds of friends, or feeling accepted, or your career, you know? Of course you're like doing things towards your career, but still, even just living in the headspace of like, you know, I'm not there, as opposed to living in the headspace of like, I am this, I have this thing. It's not like a can I or will I, it's like, this is what it is. I might not be like seeing it in the physical world yet, but it's just fact. This is this is my path, this is what's happening. And never faltering from that. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter what appearances look like here and there. Just like accepting it. You know, that was the big thing, you know, I can't remember where I read this either, but it was like, you need to accept that you're your ideal now. And it was the wording of that, because the idea that I'm accepting that I am my ideal means that I was refusing it. If I have to accept it, that means I'm refusing. That means I'm going, no, this is an idea. No, I'm not my ideal. One day, when am I going to be my ideal self? Accept it. You are that person. All that stuff is inside of you right now. It's there. So just take it on. Now. And don't go back.